Today on Young and Restless, Nikki and Victor try to convince Jill that Colin was not redeemed. Jack and Kane argue about mind games, and Tessa decides to visit Mariah. At the ranch, Victor admits to Jill that he's stunned that she's still giving Kane the benefit of the doubt. Jill isn't blind to his imperfections. Victor thinks that's a delicate way to describe it. Jill wonders why he thinks he can change the way she feels about him. He asks if she's aware of the danger Kane poses. She's heard the rumblings, but says the threat is over. She had a long talk with Kane, and he seems to have backed off any attack. There will be no war. This is hard for Victor to swallow. Nikki is sure that Jill is lying to them, or Kane is lying to her. They ask if she heard the real story of how Kane built his empire. Jill thinks Colin redeemed himself and built a clean fortune. They tell her Colin swindled his fortune for the DeLeon family. Kane must have known about it and may have participated. Jill says she would be sad if it's true, but she saw Colin when he was dying and could see his regret. Victor claims he has evidence for his allegations. She points out he has no evidence against Kane. Jill repeats that Kane would not lie to her. They ask her to help them get their hands on the AI so they can destroy it. Jill assumes Victor wants it for himself. That makes him smile. He says this would protect Chancellor. Jill isn't eager to hand him a doomsday machine and demands to see all the evidence he claims to have. Once Jill exits, Victor says Jill will run to Jack, who will tell her the same thing they did and offer her a solution. He admits he wouldn't destroy it if he got it. He just needs Kane to think it's been destroyed. His wife guesses he wants to use it against Jack. That gives him a laugh. Kane is drowsing on his train when Jack shows up. Ashby admits he didn't sleep well last night. Jack assumes his conscience must be giving him a hard time. Kane was under the impression everyone thought he had none. They talk about his involvement with Billy, and Jack asks if he liked playing mind games with his brother. Kane says Billy could have walked away, but Jack thinks he played him cruelly and deliberately. Ashby says he wasn't playing Billy. They are both too much alike. They are messy and loners. He's done with playing mind games and going after more. He's reconsidering who he wants to be. Jack doesn't buy his self-reflection act. If he really wants to prove he's had a change of heart, he thinks he should destroy his AI so no one can use it. Jack suggests that Kane let him be the one to do it. Kane jokes that's very altruistic of him. He doesn't trust him and assumes he would use the AI against Victor. Jack claims he and Victor are on the same page. Kane doesn't believe it and jokes he could give it to Phyllis to see what she would do. He doesn't trust any of them and is sure they would all do what they are accusing him of doing. They go around in circles. Eventually, Jack suggests he turn to Jill. Kane accuses him of playing mind games by calling her back to town. He tells him he's urged Billy to make amends with Jill. That's part of why he wanted to take over Chancellor. They argue about Jill and Billy's relationship. Kane insists he was trying to give Billy a shot to be a success. Jack asks what changed. Kane says Billy was just himself and he realized he wasn't worth dealing with. Jack thinks his brother can still be redeemed. Kane reminds him he just turned his back on him for the same reasons. Jack knows how frustrating his brother is, but he still thinks he needs to be saved. Kane wanted to help, but the cost was too high. He says Colin changed. Billy doesn't. Jill arrives and asks to speak privately with Kane. Jack wants to talk to her himself. She guesses he wants to fill her head with negative thoughts about Kane like his brother and Victor have. Jack asks if that's working. That remains to be seen, Jill says. In the park, Tessa worries that dumping what they learned about Mariah on Sharon may have been too hard for her. Daniel assures her that Sharon can handle it. He admires how well Tessa is dealing with everything, too. Tessa can't stop thinking about how her wife could be in danger from the man she attacked. Daniel is sure she's safe at the clinic. Tessa suggests they get to him before he can go after Mariah. He thinks leaving this alone might be for the best, and adds that it might only put her in danger. They don't know anything about this guy, and he may just want to forget the whole thing. This is frustrating for her. He admits that at times like this, he would usually call Chance. She is furious that sweet Mariah is being haunted by Ian and can't imagine what caused her to break. Imagining her wife with a man makes her skin crawl. Was her wife fighting real or imaginary demons? He urges her to focus on what they know. They are all safe and Mariah will come home. She says they don't know that. Tessa is determined to visit her wife and tell her she doesn't have to be ashamed of anything. Daniel warns Mariah may not want to see her. She won't be turned away. He's noticed she can be pushy and doesn't hold back. He's sure Mariah thinks she's the perfect amount of pushy and caring. Things get awkward, so she starts checking for trips to Boston. She decides to go in the morning. He repeats her wife might not want to see her. She knows her mood swings have been operatic lately. She doesn't know how he sticks around. Daniel says he's in for the long haul. Things are bad, but they haven't been the worst. He's rooting for a happy ending for her and her wife. Tessa agrees she should be grateful her wife is still around. She's also thankful for Daniel and doesn't know how she would have gotten through any of this without him. She thanks him for distracting her and making her feel like a good teacher. He's listened to all her worries, helped with her daughter, and gone looking for clues. Daniel tries to downplay it all. He's just happy to be there for her. Tessa tells him he's been her best friend and hugs him.